Well, it's wonderful to meet you. Thank you so much for taking a minute out today.
Thank you very much for having me.
You bet. So, before we get into the work that you're doing, all the wonderful stuff as a coach and as an author, I want to know this. 6 years ago now, this pandemic was changing our lives, changing the world. How did you get through that era, and how has it changed the way that you approach things today?
Actually, it is a very good question because it changed everything about my life, basically. The COVID, it happened when I was at university, so I was very much used to being constantly surrounded by people and constantly going out into the world. And suddenly we were confined in a very small space. And basically, that's when I started my healing journey because I understood that I need to go to therapy and I need to some of these thoughts are not very healthy. So that's how I decided that that is the time where I will look inward into myself. And I basically started the self development journey. And then it started escalating. I actually found a therapist, and then I basically now found coaching as a way of being. So I know that these were very difficult times for everybody, and it was really I think for many people it was a huge shift, and I think it was a huge shift in society and how we think as well. And it was I believe it were these were dark times, and they brought so much. They brought a lot of pain, but also a lot of change in and transformation in how we view each other, and also how we work, how we show up for each other.
So, let's get into the work that you do on a daily basis today. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of 12-year-olds. It's career day, you're in a school, and one of the kids wants to know what you do for a living. How do you answer them?
So currently I'm in a transition. So I'm going from finance world into writing books and also coaching, which means that I'm also following my heart to do this work because I can see that we are now entering a world where we want to take care of each other. And I can really see that the society is changing and we are guiding each other towards healing. So my answer to what I'm doing is to I'm helping people or guiding other people to find out who they really are in their core, because especially as we are coming into adulthood, we are so used to wearing these masks, and we create these masks because we need to be obedient at school. We need to fulfill a certain role in a corporate life, for example. And sometimes it can create for us that we are just fulfilling everybody else's expectations, and then we forget who we are in the middle of it. So what I'm doing is I'm guiding other people to come back to themselves and find out who they want to be in their core, and how to actually also keep being the real them that they were when they were, for example, a child.
Was there somebody that did that for you? Did you have that figure in your life?
I actually had many mentors and also a lot of friends. I have amazing friends and people in my life. And then I also have a coaching group where we are helping each other grow. So I've had that, I believe, my whole life. I was surrounded by amazing people. So when I was a young adult and I was in my teenage years as well, I had great friends. But then, of course, you need some guiding hand. And that's how I found coaching to be very helpful, and therapy as well. So you always have somebody to create that safe space for you, and then you can when you have this safe space, you can really look inward, and you are held by somebody else, and then they can guide you in that healing process, because I believe it is quite a difficult process to do, because you're craving a new path, and if you are not doing it with somebody who is there for you, it can be quite difficult and quite overwhelming. So yes, I have definitely had people take care of me, and that's what I'm currently trying to do for others. And I already have beautiful people that I'm guiding, and it's really such a pleasure, because it's not only that you create a safe space where they can transform and find out who they are, but you also get to tell them the journey they are doing, because we always look at the next step that we can do. We always try to evolve and change and be better, but we sometimes don't look back at our journey to see where we are coming from and all the results that we have already achieved, all of the goals that we want to reach, but then we don't usually give ourselves the credit. And that's how I'm trying to show up for people as well, to show them where they are coming from, show them all the steps that they already did, because we just keep raising the bar. But if there's nobody to show you the rear view mirror, where you what you already have done, you can just be stuck in achieving a lot of things, but not actually give yourself the credit for the things that you have already done.
So when you were 12 years old and you were at that career day in the classroom, what did you want to be when you grew up? What was your dream job?
Oh, that's a difficult question. I'm not sure I had one. I just knew that I always wanted to talk to people, and I really liked just talking in general and going deeper into. I think that back then I didn't know what it is. Now that I have found coaching, I just love it because I love just listening to other people and connecting the dots. Sometimes for them, sometimes just being the mirror for them as well. So I believe I wanted to be a teacher.
Okay.
Yeah, and in a way, it's a different kind of career path, but it is just being there for the people as well.
So take me back to your early years from your family and friends and everything growing up. What were these foundational building blocks that were laid for you to get into coaching, to want to help people, to be in that line of work?
I believe I'm very considerate, so I always looked at somebody else's point of view, and I believe also compassion, because also I used to love reading books, and you get a lot of different perspectives, and I think that that is also another thing. It's like you're reading somebody else's life, right? But it's life, you're doing it with them in coaching, so that would be the first one. But generally, it was just the dynamics. Me and my friends, we were always there for each other. We were always going maybe even over analyzing some situations, some problems, but we were always there for each other. And I think that's what I'm also bringing into coaching. And also the family foundation, it's based on trust and honesty, and always saying things that how you would like to show up for others. So that's what I'm bringing from home, and along the way I have learned determination and consistency as well, because I used to play sports on quite high level, and thanks to my parents who were really supportive for this. And you really learn how to do things and how to work on yourself in even in moments where you don't feel like it, you want to procrastinate, but you are just so used to showing up even when you don't want to. It became a practice. So it's the motivation is sometimes not enough. You need determination to go where you want to go. And I believe that's really some powerful tools that I have learned there.
So we kind of talked about inspirational figures in your life that have helped you find your place. Has there been like an ultimate one hero that's been in your life consistently that's allowed you to find confidence and to find your place?
I would say the one that was really the most important would be my therapist. And it's not that the other people were not there for me, it's just that you have that space where you can say things that you are even embarrassed of, right? So very often we try to make ourselves look prettier and better in those situations. And this was also a huge shift in my own healing, where I was just saying a story what happened, and I was trying to explain to her the circumstances, but then I got stuck because I knew that I'm not saying the real honest truth. And I told my therapist, like, I'm not really saying the truth, but I don't know how to tell you the real story because I'm not pretty in that story. Maybe I made a mistake, or I said something that was something I'm ashamed of. And she was telling me, like, you are not ashamed because you are telling me. You're ashamed because you have to tell yourself that you have failed or you have made a mistake. So that's why this was very, very important for me to have her by my side, because you really have that non-judgmental space where you can really say things that you are most ashamed of, you are embarrassed of, and the person is not judging you, and she can provide you a mirror. and create these reframes. And that's what I have learned there from the side of being the person in the seat. But now I'm on the other side where I can be the mirror for others and create that non-judgmental space. Because in the end, we are very similar. We always want to belong to other people. We want to really act from our heart, but we have all of these rules and contradictions. And if we just clear them from our life, the life becomes easier. So it has been that for me. And now I would like to provide that for others as well.
So if you could meet somebody out there, whether it's another life coach or an author or somebody inspirational that's alive on the planet, spend some time with them. It might help you on your journey. Is there anybody you would love to meet and talk to?
So I already have met him. His name is Tony Robbins because he is the one that started the whole coaching business. And I went to a stadium where there were 20,000 people, and his aura is just incredible. He's very, like, when he speaks, you listen and you don't even perceive time. And I think that's the reason why I even started this whole coaching journey, because he had a movie on Netflix where he was showing his coaching, and it was so inspirational for me that that's why I in the day right after I have seen the movie, I booked the certification. So that's how I started. And the second big thing where I was really inspired was when I went to his event. So I would definitely like to speak to him in person, because I think he can, in a very little and short amount of time, create huge change for yourself.
So there's all this debate out there about work-life balance. What's your philosophy on that?
I believe that a work-life balance, it's natural once you love yourself or you like yourself, because you automatically create boundaries. And suddenly when you have these boundaries, you don't allow other people to take away your time. So it's really, I could see it on my own journey that I was staying more often. I did overtime because I was trying to overachieve, overgive. And I was just not listening to my body, not listening to myself and what I need. And I was just being there for everybody else except me. But then when I started the healing journey and I understood that I am my first priority and nobody else is going to take care of me other than me, I understood that I need to craft that relationship and commit to myself. And once I did that, once it was 6 p.m., it was unthinkable to be there, because I needed to go back home and take care of me and cook nutritious dinner and meditate and do all of these different things, maybe socialize with my friends. So I am in my community. So I believe that the work life balance is attainable once we craft that relationship to ourselves and commit to who we are. And I really feel like we are going towards that journey, that more and more people start understanding that the priority is us. It's not, it's relationships, it's people, it's community, it's not work, it's not corporate. Of course, these are very important attributes, and also we want a certain fulfillment, but it doesn't come to the expense of ourselves, because if we are just overgiving, we give all of that energy outside, so we don't keep any for ourselves. So once we have those boundaries, and once we have that self-respect and self-trust and self-love, I believe the work-life balance becomes very, very natural.
So when the alarm clock goes off in the morning, what is the motivation for you to wake up and to do this work, to change lives, to take care of your own soul? What is that energy for you every day?
Now that I wake up, I first always meditate. So I always take first 1 hour, maybe 2 hours just for myself. And it's a practice that I now do for 4 years. And it has changed my life completely, because when we are so used to getting up and already being part of the world, like when you open your news and you are immediately living externally. So when I wake up, I give myself the priority, and then I set my intention. I already have a few questions that I ask myself every day, and it is what is the intention of the day, and how can I honor my power. And when I tell myself the intentions, I say three things that I really want to achieve, look at, or take care of throughout the day, and how can I honor that power, how can I look at myself first before fulfilling somebody else's expectations. So once I do this practice, it is very clear for me how I want to live out the day. And then I just basically it's just coming from my heart so much, and I'm showing up for others, but I'm doing it for myself because I really feel the fulfillment. And especially in coaching, it is two-sided. It's never just that you are there and you don't learn anything. Sometimes the things that other people are going through is exactly what I am going through. So it's a mirror, it's a two-way street. And it's a huge sense of privilege and fulfillment to be able to create that space for others, because also the safe space, it's not created immediately. You need to build that trust. And it's just really fulfilling that somebody would trust me to deal with their own problems. And very often they just show me and tell me the impact that the coaching can have in their lives. And that's what gets me up every morning, because by me being vulnerable also in my books, also sharing some thoughts and perspectives in coaching, just sharing my story can be inspirational, and it can give other people permission to also be vulnerable. So we think that being vulnerable can be a weakness, but it actually is a strength, and it can create conversations that are on a very different and deep level, where you actually get to know the people and you peel away all of the shallow masks, and you get to the core of who they are, and you can explore yourself, you can explore them, and it's just a very different vibration.
So, when you have a career, when you've worked long enough, you kind of look back on the early part and where you're at, and you think, wow, all of this that's happened, I couldn't have expected it. The other kind of unknown in our work life is retirement. What's your idea? Do you think you're ever going to retire? What do you think retirement's going to be like? What does that land mean to you?
Honestly, I don't think that far as retirement, because I just think life is so interesting that you get to evolve. So I I have these ideas who I want to be, and I can keep changing. And especially this society, it allows us to change the facades of who we are. So, for example, I have worked for 4 years in finance, but now I'm changing careers, so I'm going to do coaching, and I already wrote a book, and now I'm writing another one. So I can explore who I am, and currently this is what I want to do. But in the future, there might be other activities or other things that I can explore. So it's when I think about retirement, I just imagine myself on a beach, being very just like in peace with who I am, in alignment, because I was living my life in abundance and from my heart. Because if we live from our heart, just the fulfillment comes naturally. And I just think that I have cleared the path. I understand who I am thanks to my healing journey, and now I can just explore those parts. So if that's what I want to do right now, this is what I'm doing. But I have the courage to just change. If in the future I would like to do other types of activities, I can take the risk. And I think very often we are fearing the risk because we have this sense of safety, that if I'm working for a certain company, I can be there and I should be there for my whole life, or I should stick to a certain field. For example, I studied finance for 5 years and I worked there for 4 years, but now I just feel internally that this is where it should end for me, even though I have spent so much time studying and working on these topics. But I just internally feel that now I can go ahead and just explore different parts of me, and I do. So by the time the retirement, it's for another 40 years for me.
Yeah.
So I just believe that it's going to be different things and I can explore.
So if you had a dream tonight, you ran into a much younger version of you, say 13, 14 years old, and you had a big book in your hands, and it was the story of your life so far, and you handed it over and said, "This is what's happened so far." Would that young version of you believe it?
No, not one part of it. It just so much has happened. It's been, you know, 13 or 14-year-old me didn't even know how to say no. I was terrified of it because I wanted to please everybody so much. I wanted to belong to groups and communities that I was losing myself and abandoning myself just so I can be there for others. But now it is the exact opposite. I know who I am, and I know that people who don't respect who I am are not belonging to my life, and I'm not going to be fighting for them to be there. And I know that I am loved because of who I am and not despite of who I am. And since then, this is what the biggest learning of my life, that I can just be who I am and it can be enough. And I think that would be the biggest uh, surprise for my teenage me.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. If you walked into a room that everybody that knows you in a business sense, clients, everyone in the finance world, everyone that's known you in that work world, and you could go in that room and go to a podium and tell them one fun story. Maybe the first concert you went to, maybe a wonderful place you traveled to, something, just a fun story about your life that maybe people wouldn't realize that would humanize you a little bit more. What would be a fun story you would tell that room?
Uh, Fun story. This is very difficult for me to say because, first of all, how do we define fun? You
Right.
know, like
Right.
it can be different things that can be fun for other people. But when I think of fun, it is just being around my friends and just belonging and truly being there as you want to be. So it sometimes it can mean meditating can be fun because
Yeah,
you just feel a sense of peace.
sure.
Sometimes it can be exactly concerts and different activities. But for example, things that people might not know about me is that I used to play squash. So it's quite a high intensity sport. And I just have lovely memories from that time because I just used to take it very, um, seriously. But now looking back, I just see how much fun I had during those times when I had tournaments where the what I really look back with so much fondness on these times. And I remember one time I was just losing, and it was like, if I miss one more shot, I'm gonna lose it all. So, but I had really a huge way along to win. So I just told myself, like, fuck it, what is there to lose?
Yeah.
And I just started playing just like I wanted to. And suddenly I managed to turn it around. So imagine, like, you get to 11 points is the highest score. And I was losing 10-2. So I had a lot of points to win. But then suddenly, once you surrender, you let go of like overthinking, and you're just there on the court just being yourself. And I managed to turn it around and win the whole game. That's really a huge lesson that I didn't understand back then, but now I look at it with fondness because it's really once you let it go, you
Yep.
surrender to the fate, and just be yourself in
Yep.
all the aspects, it can really work out for you.
I love that story. So, of everything that you've accomplished and become at this point in your life, what are you the proudest of?
I'm the proudest of my healing journey because success can last. Uh, you can feel this the proud being proud of the success for a very short amount of time if it is an achievement, if it is work achievement or even tournament achievement with squash. But once you are so proud of yourself for who you became, that's the most fulfilling. So I would say that really what I'm proudest of my healing journey for the courage that it took me to go into the uncomfortable, unfamiliar road and just sticking to it, being consistent even when you didn't know how, you didn't know who you are, and beautiful things emerged from it. So thanks to the healing journey, I basically also wrote the book. I found out my purpose thanks to coaching. So it's just being proud of who I am, and sticking to my goals, and aligning more and more every day who I am, and just standing in that power, and allowing myself to be enough just by who I am.
So, give everybody a flavor, a taste for your book to go out and get a copy.
My book is so raw and honest because this book was never meant to be a book. I wrote it first for myself, and basically it was created in that space where I didn't know who I am. And it is just a lot of emotions and feelings dumped on a paper when I was trying to make sense of them. And it was 5 times that I did it because I really found out that the source of relief can be found in writing for me. And so all of this was created on my healing journey when I was really trying to understand how to move forward. And this year I decided to share them with the world. And it was quite scary because it's very, very vulnerable and intimate. And this level of deepness of the emotions can be quite uh yeah, it's really opening my heart to the world. But I feel like it is time where people are really prepared to be vulnerable with each other and prepared to do their work on their own. And what I would love to have as a message of the book is that you are not alone in the healing. And if this can just help a few people to understand that you will get through those difficult emotions, and you need to do yourself for yourself and stand in your own power, but there are people who can help you get there. And I am hoping that the book can be that for people to articulate their pain, articulate their emotions in a way that they can feel a certain resonance. So it's basically just going from self-betrayal, like how could I have tolerated these kind of situations, how could I have stayed in these kind of situations, and then just working through that anger which I never allowed myself to have, working through the grief of leaving my old self behind and stepping into the new era towards that acceptance and compassion and just strength, inner strength found on the way.
So everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, everyone that gets your book, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
That is such a beautiful question. Thank you for it. I think of myself as a very compassionate person who is just trying to um, show other people their own potential if they trust themselves. So I like to think of myself as multidimensional and multi-passionate. Like, of course, I have certain things that I cling to, but then I allow myself to explore and I give myself the permission to have fun and I give myself the permission to change and belong to a community and also build a community. So currently also with the book, I'm building a community where people can open themselves up towards these emotions and vulnerabilities. And I'm just hoping for my work to be inspirational, that other people do those steps to get to who they really are. And that's also with coaching. My biggest achievement in coaching would be that the person doesn't need me, because I'm there for a phase of their life where they need to figure out and they need the holding hand. But after a certain time, I would love to show them that they can be that for themselves, they can be their own anchor. But until we get there, I would love to create that space, that safe space where they can really just be who they are honestly and truly. So
So that's wonderful. I love that answer. So if anyone wants to get your book, they want to hire you, they have questions, any of the good business, where do they go?
they go to my website where I provide the links where they can buy the book. There is also information about my coaching, and I also have Instagram where I'm building the community, and you can join the community, the newsletter as well, where you get the once in a week, the reflections, the insights, and just a little bit more about the book, about who I am, what I'm going through, and hopefully that would resonate with the reader.
I love it. I will put all these links in the show notes. What a joy. It's so great to meet you. Thank you so much for your time today. Have a wonderful 2026.
Thank you very much, you as well, and it was an honor to be here. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.